They looking for the shooter. That was contested. I'm right here. I'm right
You, the viewer, are probably wondering why I just showed you multiple clips where a grown-ass man is screaming at helicopters, shaking his braids in front of tens of thousands of people, or kicking over mic stands, and getting 200 pumped in the head like he's in a video game. The person that I'm referring to is none other than Jacquees Berman II, otherwise known by his stage name, Travis Scott. And this is Travis Scott for Dummies. Okay. Now here's some of the backstory. Travis Scott, an African-American male, born on April 30th. At the time of this recording, he is 32 years old, soon to be 33 in a couple of months. He stands at about 5'10" and was born in Houston, Texas. As a baby until the age of 6 years old, he lived with his grandmother in South Park, Texas. As a child who lived in the neighborhood, he was exposed to a bunch of violence, drugs, and homelessness, which played a major factor in his music starting out. Once he turned the age of 6, his parents came back into his life, and he would move to Missouri City with them. Travis would go on to attend high school, where he would discover a passion for creating music, and would attend college right after that, at the University of Texas in San Antonio, also referred to as UTSA, where he would continue his passion for music, dropping out of college altogether in his second year to pursue a career in music. Sooner or later, his parents found out that he dropped out of college, so they proceeded to cut all financial ties with him, which led to a major crossing road in his life. His decision would lead him to leave the state of Texas altogether and move to Washington Heights, New York, where he would meet a friend named Mike Vax, who owned a music website and would help Travis with his music career. He would eventually leave New York and move to Los Angeles, where he would meet none other than T.I. at a nightclub. T.I. would help the young Travis Scott land a job with none other than Kanye West's Good Music, where he would be assigned as a producer for the record label. He worked for the record label for some time before he started to drop his own music. He first dropped a mixtape titled Al Pharaoh in 2013. The song Quintana would be his breakout song that would land him on the XXL freshman class of 2013. The success from his first mixtape motivated him to drop another mixtape in 2014 titled Days Before Rodeo. With 2 successful mixtapes underneath his belt, he felt the time was right and ready to drop his first studio album titled Rodeo, which came out in 2013. The success of Rodeo launched Travis Scott into mainstream as an artist, and from then on, he only went up in his success, and that was a little bit of the backstory. Now we're ready to get into my favorite part, the part I've been waiting so damn long for, the albums. The first album he dropped, as I previously stated was Rodeo, which dropped September 4th, 2015, and Rodeo was basically South Park, Houston, and it talks a lot about his experiences there, as well as Houston in general, but as well as his relationship with his parents, and his relationship with his family, and his upbringing, and his struggle trying to get to fame. His second studio album that he dropped was none other than Birds in the Trap, Sing McKnight, which he got the title from a Quavo song, which he did with. Also, Quavo's going to come up a lot more later in the video, so just remember who Quavo is. Quavo the rapper. He drops the album August 31st, 2016, and it is just like his debut album, except for he doesn't talk a lot about his past in Houston as much anymore. It talks more about his life in the mainstream as a mainstream artist. and here are some of the songs that I truly enjoyed off this album, because there was a lot of really good ones. Hey, remember the Quavo guy that I told you about earlier? Well, he and Travis Scott would drop a collab album together on December 21st, 2017, titled Huncho and Jack, Jack and Huncho. The album itself features some great rapping tracks with a lot of ad-libs used from both Quavo and Travis Scott in the mix. It also had some great samples used throughout the album from producers like Southside and Murder Beats. Here are some of the songs that I would. Riding off the success of his first 3 albums, he proceeds to drop probably one of, if not the best albums of all time, one of the best rap albums of all time, Astroworld, in 2018 on August 3rd, which is an absolutely phenomenal album from start to finish. It doesn't go necessarily back to like his old roots, but it doesn't like really cross new paths. It's more like it has rapping, it has a lot of rapping onto it, but it also has some singing elements. He brings back The Weeknd on some of the songs in the album, and uses some other different artists in various different ways. I truly like the album. It's not as experimental as some of the other projects, but it's more of like a complete Travis Scott album. Here's some of the songs I truly liked off of this album, and on to the next. It's the year 2019, December 27th, about to be 2020, and Travis Scott hasn't dropped an album since last year, and people are waiting for his next couple of albums to drop. While you're waiting for his next big single album to drop, he dropped not a mixtape. He dropped a collab album with none other than Don Toliver and Check West, titled Jackboys, which was a very short album. I wish it had a couple more songs, but it was still good nonetheless, and I still really enjoyed it. It had a lot of very popular songs, a lot of very TikTok popular songs, if you know anything about some of the TikTok popular songs, and a couple of the popular dances to it as well. But still, they were nonetheless a really good album. After 5 years, no new albums, and only one collab album in that time frame, Travis drops his most highly anticipated 4th studio album titled Utopia, which came out on July 28th, 2023. This album isn't a continuation of his previous album, Astroworld, but yet a callback to some of his old experimental sounds and styles that he had during his early stages of his career. This album features fewer ad-libs in each song and less of a heavy rap presence in the album, like its counterparts. The album itself features beat switches on songs like Schizio, Hyena, and Sirens, as well as laid-back and chill songs like Telekinesis until further notice. If you haven't listened to the album, I highly recommend that you listen to it and listen to some of the songs that I listed in the video. If you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate you, but I have to go and look up how to use mic stands like Travis Scott. I'll see you later.